Nigel Farage is the Brexit leader. He's the man who is, of course, a freedom fighter. You can find him on GB News. You can see him each and every week right here on Paul Murray Live. Great man. Your thoughts on Australia voting 60-40, every state bar the bureaucratic bubble of Canberra. No, hell no, no thank you.
I remember the morning after the Brexit referendum 7 years ago, and I stood on a green outside the Houses of Parliament and I said, this is a victory for the little people, for ordinary people, for decent people, against an out-of-touch political and media class and bullying big corporate businesses. I think my response to the referendum result in Australia is exactly the same, and the fact that Canberra voted yes makes the whole thing sweeter and better, but it just shows you they are completely out of touch. Well done, Australia. Brilliant.
Do you have any warning to those that were part of the no machine about how the wider machine comes after you, after you've had the embarrassing victory?
Yeah, I mean, look, they did it to us with the Russia hoax. They did exactly the same thing to my friend President Donald Trump. They never, ever accepted the result. But I've just got a slight feeling that perhaps this is different in Australia. I think the scale of the defeat, the fact that all of the states outside that little Canberra bubble voted in the way that they did, I think it's going to be very difficult for Albanese to really recover from this and to really go on the attack. And I think, the classic thing they would do is to say, look, Australians were hoodwinked by racists and bigots. I just don't think it flies. And I also think it sort of kills stone dead the idea of a referendum, a constitutional referendum on the monarchy as well. So, no, I think you've won your victory. I think they will struggle to come back from this one.
All right, let's talk about Israel. So much happening, everything from Iran saying that as soon as tonight they may well end up doing something in a preemptive fashion, people stuck in Gaza, more information coming out about what actually happened in Israel, and Joe Biden heading in the next couple of days.
Yes, I mean, Joe Biden's position is very odd, isn't it? Strong speeches now in support of Israel and their right to defend themselves, and yet it's Joe Biden who, as Vice President of America, was part of the Iran deal, which freed up tens of billions of dollars for Iran on a promise they would not pursue the nuclear program. And what did they do? They pursued the nuclear program and had the cash to fund Hamas and Hezbollah. So I have to say, I do find the Biden visit, if you drill down into it, really somewhat contradictory. As far as the situation on the ground is concerned, look, we all know what's happening in Gaza is very, very bleak. But I think we have to recognise that Hamas are ISIS. They're one and the same thing. And when you get the noises coming from Iran, when you see strikes now coming out of Lebanon, when you see problems reoccurring on the West Bank, you realise that basically Israel is now in an existential fight for its very future, surrounded by people who hate not just the state of Israel, but actually the religion of the Jews. This is a very, very bleak situation that Israel finds itself in. And I know that two wrongs don't make a right, and I'm worried, as everybody is, as to what may happen in terms of the civilian death toll in Gaza. But they have to do this. They simply have no option if they are to survive as a country and, frankly, in many ways, as a race in that part of the world.
Now, the best part of 10 years ago, the New Zealand went down the long and wokey road. Thankfully, they found a way off it on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jacinda Ardern was the most right-on leader in the whole of the Western world, and happily, her reign is completely over. New Zealand's experiment with quite radical socialism has firmly come to a close with a solid Conservative victory, smaller parties like Winston Peters doing well. Also, common sense has returned to New Zealand. All in all, it's been a pretty good weekend down under, hasn't it?
My oath it has been, absolutely. And the New York Jets, they won one from behind this week, so it was a very good weekend. The three-peat, in fact, for my good self. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.